What happens when the person who loves you the most changes your life forever? And the people who raised you turn into strangers overnight? Before I go any further, if you're drawn to real-life stories that feel like emotional explosions, stories that pull you inside the moment, make sure you subscribe to Channel Roots of Revenge right now, like this video, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. Trust me, you're going to want to be part of this community for what's coming next. I still remember the smell of vanilla frosting and melted candles. My 18th birthday didn't feel special at first. Just another family gathering in our small living room. Balloons taped crookedly to the walls. My parents smiling too hard, like they were performing for an invisible audience. And then there was my grandma, sitting quietly on the couch, hands folded, eyes watching everything. She always watched, like she already knew how the night would end. Grandma Eleanor wasn't flashy, no designer clothes, no loud laughter. But when she spoke, people listened. She had survived things no one in our family talked about: poverty, loss, betrayal. And she loved me in a way that felt different, deeper, like she saw something in me no one else bothered to notice. When it was time for gifts, my parents handed me a card and a hug. "We're so proud of you," my mom said, her voice tight. Inside the card was a check, $200. Practical, predictable. Then Grandma stood up. The room went quiet. Even the laughter from the TV in the other room seemed to fade. She walked toward me slowly, reached into her purse, and pulled out a thick envelope. Not a card. An envelope. "This," she said, pressing it into my hands, "is for your future. College, a life you choose." I laughed nervously. "Grandma, you didn't have to." "Open it," she said. So I did. My hands started shaking before my brain could even process what I was seeing. The number didn't make sense at first. Too many zeros. I looked up at her, then back down. $100,000. The room exploded. My dad stood up so fast his chair scraped loudly against the floor. My mom's mouth dropped open. Someone gasped. Someone else laughed, like it was a joke. "Mom, what is this?" my dad said, forcing a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Grandma didn't flinch. "It's a gift for college." My heart was pounding so hard I thought everyone could hear it. I felt dizzy, grateful, overwhelmed, loved in a way I had never felt before. I hugged her, whispering thank you over and over. She squeezed me back and said quietly, "Don't let anyone take this from you." At the time, I didn't understand why she said that. The rest of the night felt surreal. My parents were polite, too polite. My mom kept glancing at the envelope like it was radioactive. My dad laughed louder than usual, asking Grandma questions about logistics, taxes, accounts. I chalked it up to shock. I went to bed that night believing my life had just changed for the better. The next morning proved how wrong I was. I was halfway through breakfast when my dad cleared his throat. "We need to talk." My mom sat across from me, arms crossed, eyes sharp, not loving, not proud, calculating. "That money," my dad said slowly, "is a family matter." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" My mom leaned forward. "You're too young to manage that kind of money. Your grandmother was emotional. She didn't think this through." I felt the room closing in. "It's for college," she said. "And college is expensive," my dad cut in, "which is why we'll hold on to it. We'll decide how it's used." Something inside me snapped. "No, it's mine." The silence that followed was heavier than any shout. My mom's face hardened. "Don't be selfish." Selfish. That word echoed in my head as they started listing expenses. Mortgage, car payments, family needs, things I had never agreed to fund, things Grandma had never mentioned. I remembered her warning, "Don't let anyone take this from you." That's when I realized this wasn't about protecting me. It was about control. The argument didn't end at the breakfast table. It followed me through the house like a shadow that refused to let go. Every step I took, every door that closed, I could feel it. Something fragile had cracked, and whatever it was, it would never fit back together the same way again. My dad paced the living room, rubbing his temples like I was giving him a migraine instead of standing up for myself. My mom stood near the window, arms still crossed, staring outside as if the neighbors might be listening. "You don't understand responsibility," my dad said finally, stopping in front of me. "That kind of money can ruin people." I swallowed hard. "It's for college. Grandma planned this." My mom turned around sharply. "Your grandmother is old. She's sentimental. She makes impulsive decisions." That sentence hit harder than any raised voice. I had never heard my mother speak about Grandma like that. Not openly, not without pretending it was a joke. I shook my head. "She's not impulsive. She told me she'd been saving for years." My dad scoffed. "That's exactly the problem. She didn't tell us. She cut us out." The word "us" hung in the air, thick and poisonous. Suddenly it clicked. This wasn't fear. This wasn't concern. This was resentment. "You're mad because she didn't give it to you," I said quietly. The room went dead silent. My mom's eyes flashed. "Excuse me?" "I mean, if this was about college, you'd be happy," I continued, my voice trembling but growing steadier with each word. "You'd be proud. But you're not. You're angry." My dad's jaw tightened. "We are your parents. What happens to you happens to us." "No," I said. "That's not true." I don't know where the courage came from. Maybe it was Grandma's hands squeezing mine the night before. Maybe it was the way she looked at me like she was passing me something far more important than money. "You don't get to decide this," I said. "It's my future." My mom laughed, sharp and humorless. "Your future? You still live under our roof." And there it was. The threat hiding behind the smiles all these years. That afternoon they called Grandma. I didn't hear the entire conversation, but I didn't need to. My dad's voice carried through the walls, controlled, polite, dripping with forced respect. My mom chimed in occasionally, soft and concerned, playing the role she perfected. "Yes, Mom, we're just worried. She's so young. Of course we appreciate it." I sat on my bed, staring at the ceiling, my heart pounding. With every passing second, fear crept in. What if they convinced her? What if she took it back? What if I lost the one thing that felt like a door opening instead of closing? An hour later, my phone buzzed. "Grandma," I answered immediately. "Hi." Her voice was calm, but there was an edge to it I had never heard before. "They want you to give the money to them." I exhaled shakily. "Yeah." "I told them no." Tears filled my eyes. "Grandma." "They said you're being influenced, that you don't understand what you're doing." She paused. "Do you?" I didn't hesitate. "Yes." "Good," she said, "because this is where things get difficult." That night, my parents confronted me again. This time, no pretending, no soft voices. "If you don't hand over the money," my dad said, "you can forget about living here." My chest tightened. "You're kicking me out?" My mom shrugged. "We're setting boundaries." Boundaries. Another word that didn't mean what they pretended it did. I packed a bag that night. Just clothes. My laptop. The envelope Grandma had insisted I keep with me. As I zipped it shut, I realized something terrifying and freeing all at once. They were choosing money over me. I slept on Grandma's couch that night. She brought me a blanket, tucked it around my shoulders like she used to when I was a kid. "You did the right thing," she whispered. But as I stared at the dark ceiling, listening to the house settle around us, I knew the storm hadn't passed. It was just gathering strength. The next few weeks felt like living inside a pressure cooker, the kind where every sound feels louder, every moment heavier. Grandma's house was quieter than my parents', but it wasn't peaceful. It was the kind of quiet where thoughts echo too loudly and sleep comes in fragments. Word spread fast. Family always finds out. First, it was my aunt calling under the excuse of just checking in. Her voice was syrupy, fake concern layered over judgment. "Sweetheart, your parents are heartbroken. They're saying you've changed. That college money has gone to your head." I stared at the wall while she spoke, my fingers digging into the couch cushion. "I didn't ask for this." "No, but you accepted it," she replied. "And families don't keep secrets like that from each other." Secrets. That word again, like Grandma had committed a crime by believing in me. Then came the cousins. Group chats I hadn't opened in months suddenly lit up. Jokes about being rich now, comments about how I should help out. One even sent a laughing emoji followed by, "Guess you don't need family anymore." I stopped replying altogether. One afternoon, Grandma asked me to sit with her at the kitchen table. Sunlight poured in through the window, catching the dust in the air. She slid a folder toward me, bank documents, account details, everything meticulously organized. "They tried to access the account," she said calmly. My heart jumped. "What?" "They didn't succeed," she added quickly. "But they tried." A cold wave washed over me. It wasn't just emotional pressure anymore. It was something darker, calculated. "I'm sorry," I said, my voice breaking. "I didn't mean for this to—" She reached across the table and placed her hand over mine. "This isn't your fault. This is who they are when they think something is being taken from them." That night, my dad showed up unannounced. I heard his car before I saw him, tires crunching against the gravel driveway. My stomach dropped. Grandma was already at the door when he knocked, her posture straight, unflinching. "I need to talk to her," he said, trying to step inside. "No," Grandma replied, blocking the doorway with a strength that belied her age. "You can say what you need to say right here." He saw me then, standing behind her. His face softened for a split second, just long enough to remind me of who he used to be. "Come home," he said. "We can forget all of this." I shook my head. "Only if you respect my decision." His expression hardened instantly. "So you're choosing her over us." The words sliced through me. "You made me choose." He laughed bitterly. "You think she's doing this out of love? She's punishing us. And you're letting her." Grandma's voice was sharp. "Leave." He hesitated, eyes darting between us, then leaned in close. "Don't come crying to us when that money's gone and she's not here anymore." The door slammed harder than it needed to. I broke down after that. Ugly sobs. All the grief I hadn't let myself feel came crashing in at once. Not just for the fight, but for the illusion of family I had lost. College acceptance emails started arriving around the same time. Prestigious schools. Opportunities I never thought I'd have. Each one felt bittersweet. Proof that Grandma had been right. Proof that my parents could have been proud. Instead, they went silent. No calls, no texts, no birthday wishes when the day came again months later. Just absence. And yet, every time I doubted myself, Grandma would smile and say, "This is the price of freedom. It's never cheap, but it's worth it." I wanted to believe her. I just didn't know how high the price was about to get. The day I left for college, the campus buzzed with excitement. Parents hugging their kids, suitcases rolling across sidewalks, laughter echoing between brick buildings. It should have felt like a victory lap. In many ways it was. But as I stood there with Grandma beside me, watching families celebrate together, the empty space where my parents should have been felt louder than any crowd. Grandma squeezed my hand. "Don't look back," she said softly. Classes started. Life moved forward. And slowly, the story that had once lived only inside our family walls escaped into the world. It began with a Facebook post. My mom shared a long paragraph about ungrateful children, about elder abuse disguised as generosity, about how money destroys families. No names, no details. But everyone knew. The comments poured in, some sympathetic, others questioning. A few brave souls asked why parents would demand a gift meant for education. Then came my dad's side of the family. A vague tweet about betrayal, a public prayer request at church. Whispers turned into debates, screenshots circulated, people picked sides. And then, someone found my story. A distant cousin I barely knew posted anonymously on a forum. From there, it spread. TikTok narrations, Reddit threads, YouTube reaction videos. Strangers dissected my life like it was a scripted drama. She doesn't owe them anything, but they're her parents. Why would you threaten to kick your kid out over money? That grandma is a legend. I watched it all from my dorm room, heart racing, hands shaking. It was surreal. My pain transformed into content, my private fight becoming a public trial. Grandma didn't care. They wanted attention, she said, turning off the TV when a local talk show mentioned the story. Now they have it. The backlash was swift. People from my parents' church began asking uncomfortable questions. Old friends distanced themselves. Someone commented on my mom's post, asking why a loving parent would demand access to money that wasn't theirs. The post disappeared within hours. For the first time, the narrative slipped out of their control. Then, one night, months later, my phone buzzed. Dad. Just one line. I hope you're happy. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed back, I am. I wish you were too. No response came. Graduation day arrived faster than I expected. As I walked across the stage, cap heavy on my head, I spotted Grandma in the crowd, standing, clapping harder than anyone else. Tears streamed down her face, and in that moment every sacrifice made sense. The money didn't just pay for tuition, it paid for freedom, for clarity, for the truth. The story never really ended. It lives on in conversations, in comment sections, in people arguing about loyalty and entitlement. But here's what I learned. Love doesn't come with conditions, and gifts don't come with chains unless someone tries to wrap them around you. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think I was wrong for refusing my parents? Should family always come before money, no matter the cost? Or was this about control, not love? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. And if stories like this, raw, explosive, real, pull you in and make you feel like you were there in the moment, make sure you subscribe to Channel Roots of Revenge right now. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it, and stay with us for more unforgettable, dramatic stories that expose what really happens when love and power collide.